So we're going to wash this, just give it a gentle sanding, and then glue it. We just want to sand it to the point where it is going to have a good bond. You're going to want some water and a cloth. You want to wipe the glue off after you glue and clamp it, because when the glue dries, it's really hard to get back off. But if you clamp it and you wipe off the excess glue, you don't have to go back and try to get off the dried glue. It makes it a lot easier just to wipe it off when it's wet. Then you want to do a little test fit, make sure this fits nice and tight. Before we try to glue it, you want to make sure it will fit nicely. Always test on something how fast your glue comes out, because you want to make sure it doesn't come out super quickly. Don't want to make a mess. You probably want to put something underneath this, like newspaper, because the glue will ruin any surface. Okay, we got a nice cardboard box, so let's get to work. We're going to put the glue on this side, and then we're going to put it on this side. You want it on both sides. Turn that so you guys can see a little better. And I will go back with my gloves and smooth this glue out. The smoother it is on there too, the better. Corner is going to be a lot trickier. Might have to turn it. Once we clamp it, the glue will come out the bottom, so we're going to have to turn it upside down and make sure we take off the excess glue. This is really important, this here on the edge. And then we're going to go back and just use our gloves. You only put like a line on and you're not getting the surface area. It's not going to be as good a bond. I'm going to go ahead and change that one glove really quick so I don't have to worry about getting glue all over the project. And I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more here. I probably don't need it, but I just want to make sure. Okay, we're ready. Hold on. Oh, I forgot to clean this up. This glue has like half an hour before it starts to get tacky, so you don't want to work too slowly, but you do have some time. I just want to quickly get this a little more flat so this piece sits in properly. Good enough. Now let's glue. Put that down for 1 second. This is going to be really hard to glue without it dripping down. Just have to wipe off the excess. Let's get this glued up before it starts to dry. Like I said, you got about half an hour when working with this before it starts to dry. So here's going to be a little bit of a tricky part. I think we're going to clamp this kind of loose and then set this piece in and tighten it. So we're going to get our big clamp, adjust it so it sits. Hold on. I might hold it in place with tape. Sometimes I'll do that, so it's easier to then come back with the clamp, because it's hard to do things with two hands. So here I'm using some tape. Obviously the tape's not going to hold it in place for a long time. It's not going to be good enough, but it's going to hold it in place where I want it so I can get the clamp on. Okay, you see the tape's holding in place, so we can easily put this on. And we're just going to put it on very loose so we can get this piece in. And then make sure everything's tight. You can see that glue's already dripping down. We'll just have to go back in and wipe it off. Okay, let's fit this in. Hold on. A little bit snug. We gotta push it. Perfect. And you see this tape really comes in handy, because I would have been trying to mess with this. And that tape held it in place just enough for us to get this in. So now we're gonna go ahead and put these on. And then after we do that, we're gonna make sure everything's clamped really nice and tight. And you wanna see that glue coming out. And we're gonna wipe it down as we go, because once you have a bunch of clamps on, it gets hard to wipe everywhere, and you don't wanna have to come back. You do not wanna have to come back and get this glue off later, because it is made to not come off. So we're gonna wipe this down before. And as we keep tightening this, there'll be more glue that we'll have to wipe away. But right now we're just making sure that where we're clamping, right down in there, doesn't have a bunch of glue. And let's keep slowly clamping this. As you can see, you can watch the glue come out as we squeeze. That's what you want. You want to see that. That means it's really tight and it has excess glue. There we go. See that glue coming out? That's a good thing. And as we're fitting it, you want to make sure it's level. Because once this dries, you're not getting this piece off for a very long time. This will be on here for good. So we're going to make sure it fits really well. We want this to be level because this is going to slide into our drawer. And if it's not level, it's probably going to catch. Because you see, this one's perfectly level. And don't forget to wipe underneath, because if you see underneath it's dripping, and you don't want that in your drawer. I think we have one more of these small clamps. Now I'm going to tighten this piece up really nice and tight. We can leave that tape on there. That tape is not going to stick to the glue. I've never had a problem with that tape sticking. All right, so now we have these little guys we can throw on. This will stay for a long time now. I'm going to do it this way so I can still reach in there and wipe off the rest. And sometimes if you have a hard time reaching, you can take the clamp off, wipe it, and then re-clamp it. You see right there. Or you can just use your gloves. Make sure this is level. I think it's up a little bit, so we're going to push this down and then clamp it. And I think we got one more, but it's kind of heavy, so I'm going to wipe the inside before I finish this. So you want to do a good job wiping out the inside. You'll definitely see the glue if it looks like that, you're going to see it. If it looks like this here, it's not going to be too bad. But these blobs of glue are definitely noticeable. And I'm not quite happy about how this fit here. I wish that was a little tighter. There we go. That's pulling that tight. Okay, we have it all glued up. We're going to wipe the inside once more just to check. Then we're going to wipe the bottom, which be a little tricky. Careful not to break those clamps. It's been about half an hour. If you're having like issues where you think you have to start over, I would just wipe all the glue off. Don't let the glue dry because you'll have a lot more problems getting that off. So if your glue up is not successful, don't be afraid to start over. We're just gonna make sure these are back in place. We're gonna let this dry for like a whole day. This glue should set and be at 90% strength in 1 hour. I usually let it dry for a whole day before taking it out of the clamps. If you have something that's going to be under a lot of stress, this is going to be used a lot, I usually recommend 24 hours in the clamps. All right, so I took it out of the clamps. Honestly, I can't even tell that this piece was broken.